The M240L is a pain to unlock, but it might be one of the most underrated weapons in Battlefield 6. Check this out.
Objective marked. We need your support in the attack.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're talking about the M240L, one of the most underrated LMGs in Battlefield 6, and honestly one of my personal favorites once you unlock it. Now I get it, this gun is a pain to unlock. You need to do a lot of suppression with other LMGs to get there, and it takes a ton of time. But trust me when I say it's absolutely worth it. Once you finally unlock the M240L and start leveling it up, it becomes one of the most versatile and powerful LMGs in the entire game. Now, why is the M240L so good? At first glance, the M240L doesn't seem that special. It starts with a 50 round mag, the recoil can feel harsh, and without attachments it's kind of a pain to use. But once you start unlocking attachments, this thing transforms completely. The M240L hits up to 33 damage per bullet and has a surprisingly fast time to kill, especially in the close to medium ranges. It's not as mobile as some of the lighter LMGs, but when you get the return, it's the raw power, consistency and range, and honestly the mobility on this weapon is not bad at all. The gun also has a very strong long range damage, but there's a catch: the bloom on this weapon can get pretty bad if you hold down the trigger for too long. That means you'll need to start tap firing at around 40 meters already to stay accurate. The good news is that the damage output stays high, so if you tap fire smartly, you'll start dropping players pretty quickly even at a good range. And when you finally unlock the 75 or even the 100 round mag, that's when the gun truly comes alive. You can hold down angles, cover objectives, or go on massive kill streaks without worrying about reloading every few seconds. This gun honestly feels like a mix between a heavy assault rifle and a classic LMG. It's got that power and punch, but with the right setup you can still move and play aggressively. Now, summing up some of the high strengths of this weapon, it's got that high damage per shot, it's 33. It's extremely versatile with the right build. It works both for aggressive and defensive playstyles. You have large mag options, which are definitely worth it on this weapon. It is a very controllable recoil with the right attachments, and it is perfect for suppression and sustained fire, especially in modes like breakthrough. Now, talking about some of the weaknesses, painful to get. The painful challenge for this is an absolute awful thing to do. With the suppression kills, it can take quite a bit of time to unlock the attachments. It has a slow reload and ADS speed, which is basically classic LMG, and it's got a heavy bloom, which requires you to tap fire at around 40 meters. So the build philosophy. I got two builds for you guys today. The first build, which is one you'll see in background clips, is tuned for aggressive play. It's fast, it hits hard, and it's perfect for pushing up with your squad. The trade-off, it's got a lot of recoil, so you need to control your burst and manage the bloom carefully when firing at range. The second build focuses more on steadiness and precision. It's lower and heavier, but the recoil reduction makes it so it's more stable and easier to use at longer distances. If you're someone who prefers holding angles, defending objectives, or just want a consistent beam weapon, this build is for you. Both builds really show you how flexible this gun can be once you've got the right setup. Now, how do you play the M240L? The M240L is best used for close to medium range control. You can play aggressively if you're confident in your aim, but you'll get the best results by holding lanes, anchoring objectives, or covering your squad as they move up. Because of its bloom and slower ADS, you don't want to just hold down the trigger in long range fights. Instead, tap fire or burst fire to keep your accuracy tight. You'll still melt enemies thanks to the weapon's damage output. It's not ideal for super mobile and run and gun playstyles. It's still an LMG after all, but you can push with it and you're built around ADS speed and stability. You can play super aggressive with it. In the beginning, before you have all the attachments unlocked, I'd recommend playing more defensively to get your unlocks faster. Once you get the recoil attachments and larger mags, the gun becomes a completely different beast. So some unlock info: you'll need the M240L by completing the Bulletstorm 2 assignment, which requires a lot of LMG suppressions. It's a grind, but once you've done it, you'll have the most powerful and underrated LMGs in Battlefield 6. The final thoughts: the M240L might not be flashy at first, but it's one of those weapons that gets better the longer you use it. Once you unlock the attachments and find your preferred build, it becomes a true monster, powerful, stable, and capable of dominating mid-range fights. Just remember, tap fire beyond 40 meters and you'll see how strong this gun really is. If you're looking for an LMG that rewards control, smart positioning, but still lets you play aggressive when needed, the M240L is an amazing choice. Stick with it through the early pain and you'll be rewarded with one of the best kept secrets in Battlefield 6. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more breakdowns and class guides, and let's get into the builds of the M240L. Here we have the first build. This is the aggressive one. This is one you will see in most background clips, probably, I'm guessing. But it's the one for the more aggressive players, and it's good for pushing, but the recoil control can be quite tough on this weapon. So starting off with the sight, we're having the lower zoom sights, the 1x magnifications. You can go up to 1.5. I wouldn't really recommend going with anything higher than that, as the visual recoil becomes too bad on this weapon, so it's hard to keep your aim on target. Then we're going over to the green laser, which is good for close range hip firing. Of course, with that 3-shot kill, you can drop players up close pretty quickly, so not missing any of your 600 rate of fire shot bullets is an absolute must. So I think the green laser is a must. Of course, I said this with every single build, be aware that enemy players can see the green laser. So when you're reloading or having to recover from health and you're chilling in a corner, be sure to point your gun downwards so the enemy player cannot see your laser. Now we got the flash hider, so it removes that bit red icon above your player model, and it makes it a little bit more stealthy in that sense. Now the lightweight barrel that improves aim down sight accuracy while moving and enables a faster transition to ADS, making the gun a whole lot more aggressive. You'll notice a big difference. You can start strafing with this build as well, which is quite nice. Then we have the slim angle. Slightly reduces recoil, increases weapon draw speed, and enables a slightly faster transition to aim down sight. Also working on that aggressiveness of this weapon. Then we have the 75 round extended mag, definitely a lot better than the 50 round extended mag. For some reason, the reload speeds at the bottom right corner, it shows 0.5 seconds, but I think the reload speed of this is actually a tiny bit slower than the 50 round loose belt, but the difference is not very big. And then we use the standard FMJ rounds. So that is the first build. And here we have the second build. This is a lot more stealthy, but it also has a lot less recoil than the first build. I think a lot of people will actually like this one, but be sure to play a whole lot more defensive with this build. Hold your place, hold the objectives, play defense breakthrough. It's going to be absolutely amazing for those type of game modes. Now, the main changes here is we went with the variable 1 to 4 times scope. Both scopes are quite nice. As you can see, this is a 4 times scope. Not too bad. And then with close range, you got the 1 time, which is very nice for these type of kills. But both changes are really cool. I really kind of think this sight's also quite clear. If you don't like the green filter on it, you might want to switch the scope to something else. But a higher times zoom on this build works great. Then we don't have a laser on this build, so it doesn't work that well up close anymore. And then we have the 25-point suppressor. It reduces recoil buildup and improves recoil recovery, so it makes it a whole lot better at tap firing, for example. And you have that suppressor benefits of not appearing on the minimap within a certain range and not being appeared in world spotting as well. Then we have the heavy extended, improving that projectile velocity and improves firing accuracy over extended periods. So if you keep on shooting the weapon, it becomes more accurate. So you kind of cover that bloom issue a little bit. And this is a big change. We're using the stubby grip. Now, it moderately reduces the recoil and enables a slightly faster transition to aim down sight. So the ADS speed still isn't too bad. It is definitely slow though. at the cost of ADS accuracy while moving. So if you're moving with this build, you're going to have a lot more bloom. So you want to be stationary when you start shooting your targets. And then we have the 75 round extended mag, which is more than enough, and we have the FMJ rounds. There is a slight variation which you can do, is that you go back to the flash hider, and that way you can enable the 100 round mag if that's something you would want. Not something I would recommend, but if you like to go with the extended mags and have even less reload times, then that's one of the options that you could do. This is a build that I would personally recommend. That's going to be it for this video. Hopefully it was useful. Subscribe if you haven't yet to the channel, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.